Good morning, dear subscribers. So, no, we have not lost our voices. We did not reset, cloned. I don't know any other fantastic theory. I am who I am, and what I always was. Nom David. This kind of obsession with trying to know who is really speaking, who is the hand that, I don't know, היד שמנענעת את העריסה, את העריסה החריפה. Who is the real hand here that, that presumably manipulating this person? Who speaks on his behalf? Is this a real person? Is that a clone from Venus? Is that a clone from Ramallah or from Gaza Strip, from Iran, from Indonesia? I don't know. I just don't know. From the city of Capri. Listen, this was always ridiculous, but it became so much ridiculous. So much more ridiculous. It was the starships are above you, but I truly understand. What was obvious to me always is that, and because it's not only true from in this context, that of course, people that want to be assholes and to be sinners, or after they are punished, if they stay alive, they only become worse because they feel the need to justify not their next sin, but also the previous sins. To say, yeah, look, we were always right, and God was always wrong. It doesn't make sense, but these people doesn't make much sense. Satan doesn't make much sense. No, not at all. This kind of mechanism can also be mentioned in the context of the it's like the famously paraphrasing Soloveitchik book. האדם מחפש את אלוהים או האלוהים מחפש את האדם. Who is searching for who? Presumably, the person searches for God, because he wants to believe, but and presumably God is like hiding. But in reality, the truth is almost always the opposite. God searches for the man, for the human, God wants human to be aware of him and to have the grace of belief. But the problem is that unlike many unlike naive and childish followers of or participants in monotheist religions, what they believe, revelation is just is not necessarily something that promotes belief. Not at all. Presumably the greatest widespread revelation was Har Sinai. Everybody I've seen participated in this revelation. 40 days later they created the golden calf. And it's got many reasons. First reason is that when the people get used to like private babysitter hovering around them, if they are slaves in their nature, if they don't have any kind of backbone and education, they will construct their safety. I would say the kind of the worldview of what makes them safe is dependent on this kind of revelation. And after 40 days they'll think, so what now? No revelation. And where is the prophet? He cannot explain what's happening, and this God left us. So we need quickly to have a new God. Because 40 days without revelation, without the prophet, what can we do now? So So for such people, I mean, the revelation is only counterproductive. Now, another issue that I actually mentioned not long ago is the issue of the heart of the sinner. That I mean, you hear the zombies shout. Because yesterday I played the game like that I lost my voice or that I'm cloned, and they were all very happy here. Yeah, he's finally not speaking. They all just try to come, of course, push their luck by, having a series of shows that let's make him homosexual, let's make him a whore, let's make him now the cleaning servant of the house. But after like an hour of literally worms eating their body, there was kind of recession in their motivation. But what happened is that the Shabak sent another team here after those were eaten by the worms. They sent another team during the night. So now we have the new zombies with high motivation. But I assure you, if they will not shut up, the motivation will be dropped in very soon. Shut the fuck up. אין לי עכשיו אנרגיה, אני מבין שהם זומבים והם לא שולטים במעשיהם, יש להם כל מיני קבוצות שאומרות להם מה לעשות, אבל אני אומר לכם, אנחנו עכשיו הולכים למסיבה פה עם עוגה. יהיה פה מסיבה עם עוגה, לסתום את הפה, חלות. פדופילים מהתחת. Some would say too early for a sausage party, but I mean it's never too early for a sausage party. It's not even 7 a.m., but it's never too early for a sausage party. You cannot get enough of this stupidity. Anyway. So the heart of the sinner, if he sees like a revelation that is also, related to some kind of punishment for the wicked, if he's not dead after that, he tells himself, okay, so either that I am stronger than this guy because he couldn't beat me, or maybe that this God is he's cool with me, I'm his bro, he likes me, because whatever, so I can just continue to do whatever I always did, in even more, because you've seen that all the bad people were punished, but I didn't, I survived. It means that I'm great. Either way, they become just worse now, and this is not a mythological process. This is something that I've seen in my own family. Again, my own family, many people in my own family, belong to this generation of the 1980s that belong to they were not higher ups or very important during the 1980s, because the important people generally were generally they were avid eaters of the tea, of the drug. And the punishment, is directly correlated to how much tea you've eaten. Punishment in this world. In the next world, every person is punished according to their own circumstances. But here, it's not... when the starship arrive... מה יש את התחת האלה? על הבוקר הצגה, יפה מאוד הצגה. איזה הצגה יפה, תראו איזה יופי, יש להם פה את כל האלמנטים, את כל הפרופס. They have all the props from the theater, from the Elizabethan theater. They have every props. Wow. And they themselves, they are props. Albeit used props. Albeit used props, but of the highest... of the highest caliber. So, in this world, just as follows simple when it's enforced by higher powers, it follows simple rules. And yes, those rules might not deliver everyone what they deserve, because that's the way that it is in this world. צדיק ורע לו, רשע וטוב לו. That's why, there shouldn't be almost nothing on the exception wall. As I've always said, yes, the neural language allows for exception, but exceptions are something that the cherubs, my species, they do not like at all, and God even likes it less than that. Because the purpose of the starships, the cherubs, is not to enforce ultimate justice in this world. It's impossible to do so. It's famously impossible to do so, because if you, again, for many reasons, but above all, if you do it, supposedly you could have done it, but if you would have done it, this will be a puppet show, a puppet theater, because in order to maintain justice in this world in every moment, because if you say, yes, internal justice is enforced in this world, but only, or ultimate justice, but only like once every 1,000 years. So okay, but what's in between? So people ask themselves, okay, but we don't live in this moment. So but if you want it to be enforced every moment, it means that every a bad action will be followed by a corrective measure, which means that everybody will be puppets. Free will and free choice dictates that there will not be an ultimate justice in this world. But yes, sometimes the cherubs, or other, it doesn't even need to be cherubs. It could be just, the enforcers of justice in this world could be just, even wicked the kings, it is like it's described in the Bible. Indirectly, like the king of Assyria could be, the enforcers of God's will. Over this pharaoh or another pharaoh. You hear the cleaning machine now? They became to, every morning we have cleaning machine electrocuting us. It's so fun to live in Israel. Pieces of shit. So, next, the rules should be very simple for this world. For higher creatures like the cherubs. So the rule was and is pretty simple. Punishment is not handed to any individual according to their sins, because this is the purpose of judgment in the next world. And it's also not been delivered to countries, to states, because indirectly it does, but because there is kind of correlation between what country do you belong to and how much drug you've eaten. Of course, there is a huge correlation here, but countries are only good, or states or sovereignties are only good as far as, they are not good, they don't have an inherent goodness or evil in them. To say so is kind of it's kind of like new paganism, not very, it's like a paganism that that belong to the time of national states, that in the early 19th century or late 18th century paganism, that that elevates the state to the role of God. But this is this is a huge sin in itself, because what's important is no flag is kind of is holy or sacred by itself. It's just a way to enforce the good behavior on people. So the important thing is behavior, not the flag. It's ridiculous. And I've said it many times. From the King's perspective, the American flag is a tactical command to the fleet how to adjust the radiation weapons. It's also true to the flag of Germany, by the way. Like I say so, half kiddingly, but half not. That's what it is for them. You see the American flags, and you think about, I don't know what, the history of the United States, and they think, okay, so we have 50 like war machines that should calibrate like the radiation to this wavelengths. Fine, excellent, whatever. Like you see the flag of Brazil, they see, I mean, they think, oh, okay, this is Saturn. Fine, we know Saturn. We have things over there, like in the moons. It's great. I mean, it's not what you see here. You see the flag of Israel. They, I mean, they think of it as kind of like, I mean, like a tombstone or something like that because of the color, like the color of skin, which is same true for Argentina. I mean, it's like, I mean, because of the color scheme. Like it's that's, I mean, it belongs to the area. I mean, the arena of death. Like, I mean, the blue and the white. It's related to death. I'll give you other examples in the past. I don't even remember now. I mean, what kind of other examples did I have given you? The flag of Russia also related to radiation. Like what are the more like interesting ones that are not just, I mean, Iran, the death of Iran is also something to do with the fleet, but I don't even remember what. Something to do with the fleet. It's like an order to the fleet. I don't remember what. I mean, positioning or I don't know. I mean, something again to do with the fleet. Interestingly, by the way, I mean, just a coincidence, maybe coincidence, flags were used by, like, I mean, by, and maybe still are, I mean, probably not, but flags were used in the past of humanity for a long time as a communication device between actual ships, like mostly in fleets. I mean, arguably, this is like one of the main usages of flags. I mean, in the past was to identify yourself in a maritime situation, but it was much more. I mean, but I mean, to a much larger extent. I mean, or to much more elaborate extent, combination of flag was used as a way of communication, like famously with the Lord Nelson, Britain, I mean, expects every man to do his part or whatever, like, So this message was transmitted using flags, actually. It's just a curiosity. I mean, I don't say that there is like any equivalence. I mean, because I mean, it's just it's just a curiosity. But yes, I mean, the flags. I mean, the fleet. I mean, the Cuban fleet. They kind of interpret flags mainly as kind of orders to them. Like, I mean, so all sorts of stuff that, I mean, might sound like, I mean, completely outlandish to humans because, I mean, they don't even think about, like, I mean, what kind of, I mean, their kind of day-to-day life is so different from, like, I mean, from these people. Mostly that the people in the Caribbean fleet, I mean, they actually do sex, and like humans stopped that a long time ago, and they mostly speak about it. So where have we been? So okay. So I mean, yesterday, like we have kind of repeated the ornamental monk for those that, I mean, missed it in the first broadcast, and later we have started actually. I presented also of like candidate a series like to continue with, and actually, I mean, we've started one that is completely was not like in the list because actually, I mean. We have like hundreds of hours, I mean, thousands of hours of recordings of, like, I mean, historical, political, personal biographies, mythological sagas, and this is even not including, all the scientific material, which is of, very interesting. But as I said, I thought maybe it's more like for the premium, like subscribers. What I've started is the Ilya Capitolina series, which is the old one. It was recorded during May 2022. I mean, a year and a half ago. Of course, while I was still living in my rented flat in Shoam with my daughters, and it describes my time in Jerusalem. And I think that I've only played the first part, and then I crashed to sleep. Like I was so tired, and I don't even know if you listened. I mean, if you heard that, if you actually listened to the first part. Like I'm not so certain that it was broadcasted. So first of all, tell me if it did, and if it didn't, I would just replay the first part. And there are also other parts as well. It's not a very long series. During the time, I still didn't have the idea of long series is kind of new. I mean, but the general idea of series or sagas is not new. But I mean, not long ones. I mean, for several years the sagas were shorter. I don't know if you find it preferable or maybe you like it. I mean, it's like some people like very long films, like or like the binge on trilogies of 10 hours, and some people find it tiresome. I don't know. Anyway, the main problem is that it's not a problem, but I mean it's kind of like hard. It's in Hebrew because I only speak in English. I mean in this channel, and actually I didn't start immediately, but I mean after like a week or so. But mostly this channel is all English. But before that, I spoke in Hebrew. I mean, both in the Twitter and the channel, and also the Evernote. So it's Hebrew, and I'm not sure. But still, there is a ton of very interesting stuff, like in the Evernote account and in the Twitter, and so I mean, I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't. I mean, it's. I would say that it's like it might be a loss for a person or for in-depth service to kind of to pass on all the Hebrew material just because it's Hebrew and it's a problem. Because I really think that there are interesting stuff over there. So I mean, if you can, if you can listen to Hebrew or of course have translation, some things are recommended, and one of it is the Ilya Capitolina series. It describes my time in Jerusalem, as of course it's hinted by the name. Not all my time. I spent more than 10 years, but mostly it's focused on my student days. Before actually I met my the woman that became later my ex-wife. Even though after we met, she moved to Jerusalem, and we got married while we lived in Jerusalem, and our children were born. Our two daughters were born in Jerusalem, and only after the divorce we moved into the center. We left Jerusalem. But this series, Ilya Capitolina, does not deal with these times, but with the earlier time, that when I was still a student, and you might find it interesting. So, okay, new day. Hopefully the zombies will shut the fuck up, because I try to be very forgive, to show them mercy and forgiveness, because I understand they are zombies. But God, how much can you give forgiveness to these people? They literally do not know what they are doing. You don't need to be Jesus to say it, because they just, they are operated by other creatures. But that in itself is a sin. Anyway, so I will continue with the Ilya Capitolina. Just, tell me if you've heard the first one. And maybe after that I will return to the robot saga. maybe not incomplete because it's quite long one, maybe 10 or even more, 15 hours, I don't remember, but actually, what's interesting is the Robot Saga, it was recorded very recently, it's a new saga, and it was done specifically in order to, like, be kind of like an introductory saga, which it deals, I mean, with many important elements, but basic elements of my life, my history, and also the nature of the robots, the nature of the foreigners. And I mean, both the robots in their body, what's called Neros, but and also the nature of of the people, like the Titans. That I mean, they have the robots in their body. So I think we will continue with that saga today. I'll try to keep the lectures non-stop because I understand that that's the way you like it. I mean, judging by what you do to me all my life, which is a constant, I mean, lecturing both during the night and during the day. I mean, using the subliminal, education system. I mean, I understand from that that's what you like. I mean, prefer. Like, I mean, it's a big non-stop voice in your head. So I mean, we will stick to that strategy. Yeah, most probably this will end by in like some kind of like usage of atomic weapon. But like I'm totally cool with that, and I understood long ago that I mean I will never be rescued from this hell. I mean without a usage of atomic weapon. Most certainly, I mean it's like a good bet that the people that actually will employ the weapon will be the Russians. Just because I mean, first of all, it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, it's just kind of like a gamble, but it's not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't see the future. I mean, humans have free will. Just I mean, first, I mean, they in the 1980s they were. I mean, and during I mean, the apocalypse, they were the most aggressive towards Israel, which is, I mean, which makes sense because in general, I mean, they kind of like I mean, they were known as an aggressive empire. Not that the Americans are not aggressive, just I mean that the Americans at the time were already very, in very good connection with the Israelis. And also that another thing is that I mean we see now that I mean in this world that I mean the Russians, I mean they are the only Europeans that I mean that move arms and legs. I mean you can argue I mean if that's for good reason or not, but I mean this is beside the point. The idea is that I mean most Europeans don't even like I mean remember how to move arms and legs. But it's such a speculation. I mean. Anyway, the lectures will continue. The apocalypse, I mean, will continue, and at some point, I mean, people will probably employ tremendous weapons of tremendous scale, like against Israel. Doesn't unnecessarily, by the way, need to be nuclear. I mean, as I said a couple of days ago, I mean, conventional weapons can also be, very destructive, and so I mean, but yeah, I guess it will be something. I mean, that belongs to the radioactive vacuum family of gadgets. So that's all for now.